Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'd call it hump day, but I don't want to get your hopes up. So we're learning more about the raid at Mar-a-Lago. Turns out the feds actually broke into Melania's closet and spent a lot of time in there. Here they are leaving. Oh, those feds are hot. Now imagine if they did this to Hillary's closet. What do you think they would find there? True. She's killed more people than Alec Baldwin. All it takes is one. Oh, stop it. Of course, the new angle for the media is that the president raids his opponent's home, but it's the Republicans who pounce. So it's now you who's the threat. Forget people actually trying to kill Supreme Court justices or people shooting cops. They prefer the culprit to fit their fantasy stereotype, which often looks like this. That's not Photoshop, Tyrus. And so they chase possibilities of violence based on words from everyday people reacting to a news event that shakes up their lives. Arresting them for thought crimes can't be far behind, which is something that's literally impossible for our president to be charged with. But remember, to them, words are the same as violence. Meanwhile, real violence, burning down a couple of city blocks, is something you had coming. Ben Collins of NBC actually combed through pro-Trump message boards looking for danger.
Not particularly bright people, but these are people who are ready to fight. These are people who are ready to go, and they've proven it in the past. And now they are ready to fight regardless of if they're being watched by the FBI or not.
I would not be surprised if we see the Department of Homeland Security issue some kind of bulletin that we are entering a heightened threat environment.
Bulletin. Oh, we're going to hell. Meanwhile, here's our favorite spy-screwing, fart-sniffing dope ranting about election violence.
Republicans have recognized that they can no longer win elections with votes, and so they're leaning in hard to try and win elections with violence, and they're fomenting that violence right now. This is who they are now. They are a chaos party.
So it's not the raid fomenting violence, it's the reaction to it. If Swalwell got any dumber, a box of hammers might sue him for stolen valor. Nice beard, though. Meanwhile, Mediaite listed pro-Trump supporters calling for political retribution. So those people are now on the radar, though I doubt they'll hit the streets and burn down affordable housing. No, they're just responding to a shocking act against someone they admire. But expressing anger now makes you a target. It's like when some idiot jumps into a lion cage at the zoo, and this naturally upsets the lion. Then they blame the lion for eating off the idiot's face. That's why I invite Kill Me to the zoo. So the news now is rage. And in a weird contradiction, the press mocks the anger while packaging it as deadly. But I wonder how real those messages are. I mean, they might be, but it's hard to trust anything from these people. I mean, how many informants helped plan the crimes they were working on? It's a good question. Too bad no one will ever answer that.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants actively participate in the events of January 6th? Yes or no?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Did any FBI agents or FBI informants actively encourage and incite crimes of violence on January 6th?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Did Mr. Epps urge them to tear down the barricades?
Similar to the other answers, I cannot answer that.
Why shouldn't you ask that question about that in this raid now? Think about it. Remember all those people who believed Trump was an existential threat?
The existential scandal that has surrounded the Trump presidency.
Because he is an existential threat to those American values.
An existential threat to what the country's nature should be.
An existential threat to our democracy.
He is an existential threat to our nation and to the globe.
He's an existential threat to the future of the United States.
He is an existential threat to the country.
They believe is existential, that they need to unseat President Trump.
Says the expert in getting unseated. Oh, stop it. He's down. He's got a new job. He's got a new job. And remember all the comparisons to Hitler?
We're already dealing with a president who refers to the press as the enemy of the people. That's language that was used by Adolf Hitler.
America's most poisoned human beings, America's Nazis, look at Donald Trump and see their biggest hero since Adolf Hitler.
There is no difference from what Donald Trump is preaching from what Adolf Hitler preached in the early 30s.
Yes, no difference at all, apparently. Someone better alert Trump right away that he has 3 Jewish grandkids. Wow. That is one lousy Hitler. You suck as Hitler. Wow. And someone better alert Donnie Deutsch that he's still a witless. So, too easy. So if they feel that way, why wouldn't they go above the law to take out the next existential Hitler threat? I mean, they did the Russia hoax and buried the laptop story, so why not fabricate a crime again? It's your duty if you believe he's Orange Hitler. And of course, if he's Hitler, then we're all Nazis. To be hunted. It's already started. The FBI already tried to inflate the numbers of domestic terrorists to justify investigations, and then they tried to define parents at school board meetings as white supremacists. Remember Trump supporters being attacked on the streets, people targeted at restaurants? It reminds me of the 2020 movie The Hunt, about Trump supporters being literally hunted in the wild by rich libs, like they know how to hunt. But it may be time to reclassify that movie from horror thriller to documentary. So what's next? If they go after people on message boards, won't that radicalize more people and create more threats? Suddenly everyone to the right of The View is a threat. Which, if I were the Dems, this would worry me. You should now be afraid of your own scare tactics. Because what happens when the Republicans gain power? For us, it'll be like the first time you pee after 10 beers. It's gonna feel like amazing. That might be the best feeling ever. Applause over urinating. But it's the Dems who broke the seal with the raid. Just like 2015, they poked a beast, they mocked a beast, then the beast absorbed all their energy from all those TV spots on Morning Joe and devoured the Democrats like Stelter eating pizza on a toilet. And now their Trump derangement gave all of his critics amnesia, so they forget that persecution leads to retribution. It's cause and effect, like Joe plus coat equals confusion. So, what goes around comes around until the only one around is this guy. And it's like they always say, the night is always darkest before the dawn. Let's welcome tonight's guest. If laughter's the best medicine, then he's Dr. Kevorkian. Actor, writer, and comedian Jamie Lissow. Her films are darker than the one I leave in my bathtub. Filmmaker, producer, director of the new Alex Jones documentary, Alex Lee Moyer. Like a potato, she's usually baked. Hailing it in, Fox News contributor Cat Tip. And Space Mountain waits in line to ride him. A massive sidekick in the NWA World Television Championship. So, Jamie, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
I think you need to start wearing tighter shirts. What do you think?
I feel like this shirt is the right size. It's my body that's too big.
Well, there must be some part of a store that would sell you a shirt that would probably give you more room to move.
Yeah, I go to the small and short men's store.
Yes, I bet you do. As we all probably know who watch the show regularly, you're mainly a threat to yourself.
Yeah.
But given it seems like you could be a threat to this country now, correct?
Do you think so? Real quick pause.
Yes.
When you said in the monologue, the peeing after 12 beers.
Yeah.
I don't know that there is a better feeling. And it also helps wake you up in the morning. Do you know what I mean? Gets you right out of bed.
That's sad.
I do believe that Biden did not know the siege was happening. I don't know if other people agree with that or not. I heard that his alibi, it was that he was putting his jacket on for the 9.5 hours of the siege. Isn't it crazy how different Biden and Trump are? Couldn't possibly be more different. Trump got his house broken into. Biden's not even housebroken.
You got one more?
Yeah.
I always assume he has 3. And, like, he usually bats 2 out of 3. One really sucks. Could have been the first one. Who knows?
Here it comes.
Yes.
But I did give, sometimes I'll click over to see what's going on in the other stations.
Yeah.
It was just infuriating checking out CNN. But I remember what my dad always told me. He always said, when life gives you Don Lemon, change the channel.
There's a guy here that just laughs at everything you say. I think you brought him. Alex, welcome to the show. So happy to have you. I love your movies.
Oh, thank you so much.
Now, your first movie, which I always screw up the title because I'm an old man. What's the title of the movie?
TFW, no GF.
So you know everything about message boards, and also your Alex Jones is it's a terrific documentary. You don't have to like Alex Jones to like the movie. What do you make of the so-called this belief in violent rhetoric on message boards? That's kind of your wheelhouse.
I think that any time that you go looking for that kind of thing on a message board, you'll be able to find it.
Yeah.
So being able to weaponize that at any moment in a utilitarian way makes a lot of sense. And this is, the Democrats, their platform is fear right now. So, it's right in their toolbox.
Do you think this helped Trump? Because he's already kind of a folk hero. People were looking at DeSantis. And now it's kind of like, well, no, he's back and he's pissed. It's like Rambo. It's like Rambo 2. Thank you. They like Rambo.
It's definitely amazing for his story arc, as if it couldn't get any more interesting. I mean, his hero's journey just keeps getting weirder and weirder. So.
Yeah, that's true. I think if I was your friend, I would tell you that's your next movie. Just following Trump around.
Uh-huh. Well, see, he'd have to, the access might be a problem. He's gonna have to...
But you both have the same color hair.
That's true.
Yes.
Riveting journalism.
Thank you. I noticed that. Yeah. I noticed that, Tyrus.
Yeah, you're about 2 out of 3 too sometimes.
Yes. More like.
I'm mad about the Space Mountain thing, so it's gonna take a minute.
More like number 2 out of 3.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, Tyrus, what do you think?
Well, I think it's important that we need to remember to not respond. Like we're being heckled. You're being attacked. They threw a jab. It wasn't a great jab, but it was annoying. Like our eyelash got stuck in her eye, kind of a jab. And what I am pleased to see, Mr. President didn't listen to us at all when he was running against you, and we said, stop beating up the old guy. They're feeling bad for him. And he would come out and he would fight and he would do. He had a private meeting. So proud of him. He didn't get involved. Yeah. If you don't respond, they need the response. They need somebody to burn something down. They need us to fall and play their game. Our response will be at the ballot box. That's where we need to respond. They're not going to get January 6th too, no matter how bad they want it. They're not going to get the red MAGA hats to go burn down a building or destroy a city, because most of us work in these cities and we have to keep our economy going thanks to the administration. So no response is the best response. Be the snake at the bottom of the ocean and let them little punks chew on you and strike at the ballot box.
Kat, do you believe we're entering a heightened threat environment?
Yeah, I mean, people are gross on message boards.
Yes.
People say, if I worried about what people said about me on message boards, I would never leave the house because I'd be too scared I was going to get hit with a penis. So, like...
How do you get hit with a penis? Who's throwing them?
People have some stuff to say. They have some thoughts in their head, and then they type them out.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything yet, really.
Yeah.
There's been days of just these fiery hot takes coming from all over the place about something we have almost no information out about.
But isn't that the story of our lives? I mean, if we actually waited for the facts, we wouldn't have a show. Sometimes I don't even read I read the headline and then I sit down and do this show. No, I'm kidding. You know I prepare.
Yeah, you have the notes right there to prove it.
Yes, I do. My assistant Julio does this.
Yes.
R.I.P. Julio. Where are we? Oh, are we done? I can't see that far.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.